हरे कृष्णा गौरचंद्र गोपीनाथ प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा devotees दंडवत प्रणाम. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very fortunate to have the association of His Grace Gaurachandra Gopinath Prabhu, who will be sharing the nectar from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhuji will be speak about the fifth limb of devotional service explained by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is śrī-mūrtira Sevaya. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji.
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद। जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतेरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for today's session. We'll be reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 22, text number 128. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtana Bhagavata Sravana Madhura Vasha śrī-mūrtira śraddhāya sevana. So, word meaning Sadhu Sangha, the association of the devotees, Nama Kirtana, chanting of the holy name, Bhagavata Shravana, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Mathura Vasa, living at Mathura, Sri Murtira, Shraddhaya Sevana, worshipping the deity with faith and veneration. Translation by His Grace, Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. One should associate with the devotees, chant the holy name of the Lord, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, reside at Mathura, and worship the deities with faith and veneration. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamagyam Tadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadudam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Surupakam Bhaktyavataram Bhaktyākyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayastadama Vrindavaram Ramya Kachit Vipashna Javado Vargena Va Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Premam Pumarto Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Modamidam Tatradana Paraha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangam langayate grim. Yat kripa tamaham mande Shri Guru Deenadarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Arihi Om Tat Sat. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna. Hare Krishna. Once again, I welcome all of you There are so many senior Vaishnavas are here. I'm seeking your blessing. I don't know. Today I'm not be the expert in śrī-mūrtira Sevaya. I don't know. I've been given this seva, so I'm trying to speak something. In fact, I was trying Pramod Nitai to give this session because he knows more of the deity worship. Anyhow, as a service, I'm trying to do this, so you can correct me if there is some my understanding is wrong. So today, it's a huge topic, śrī-mūrtira Sevaya, and a lot of sensitive issue as well. So today I'm not going to dwell into it's vast. śrī-mūrtira Sevaya means you can talk about also the rules and regulation, how to worship, right? Instead of that, I'm going to talk about more of pastimes of the Lord, how the connection with the deities one can establish, what is the advantage of doing śrī-mūrtira Sevaya rather than going do's and don'ts, rules and regulation, how to worship, what not to do, and things like that. So that may be some other time. So that's what I intend to do today's session. So just give me a second. You're able to see my presentation and my voice is okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Just give me a second. So now you are able to see the some slide with text or not? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. So this is some of the excerpts I've taken from Srila Prabhupada conversation, something from the book. This is just to set the mood on how to worship like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So Prabhupada initially, when he was doing so many ISKCON temples, right? Actually, he said Gaurnita is more than sufficient because Radha Krishna standard is quite high. And he was okay with just installing Gaurnitai and people worshipping him because he was not sure the standard in which people has to come to worship Radha Krishna is quite high. So he's always recommended to go with Gaurnitai worship rather than Radha Krishna and Shaligram and things like that. So these are some of those initial days how Prabhupada was writing to their disciples. So I'll just read a couple of them, then we can discuss some of the pastimes. So Prabhupada is writing, this is letter to Madhudipsa, Melbourne, 1976. You can also establish a Kirtan hall on the form and install Gauranitai deities. The Gauranitai can be established anywhere and it is simple to worship them. Simply chant before their lordship. He doesn't mind that you have not decorated very nicely, but if you chant and dance, he is very pleased. One must first take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. By serving Gauranitai, one is freed from the entanglement of material existence and thus become qualified to worship Radha Krishna deity. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita purport. So one thing is that Prabhupada is telling that, there are different standards for different set of deities. If you worship Laddu Gopal, then there is a standard. You have to take care of a child. You can't offer something spicy, hot. How you feed your baby, time to time. The time is very important. Laddu Gopal also more equal as the Radha Krishna worship because quite few high standard we need to follow. Bathe them, take care of them, cold and things like that. And you have to carry them wherever you go. You can't leave them and go. You don't leave your child and go. But Gauranitai is so merciful. If you are Jagannath at home, then you should have a lot of food offering should happen, nicely decorate them. Radha Krishna, of course, timing, offering. For Gauranitai, you just simply offer, simple chant in front of him, he's happy. If you don't offer anything, he will not take offense. If you don't bathe him, he will not take offense. If you don't decorate him properly, he will not take offense. I'm today I have a mood to eat pizza, pasta. Okay, I can offer, but Radha Krishna can't do it. They will have a standard menu, rice, chal, chapati. That what they want, you need to offer, not that what I eat, I will offer. Gaurunita you can do. Sometimes you get up at 6, 6:30, sometimes 4:30, 5:30. Whatever time you can wake up your deities, which is Gaurunita, but Radhakrishna, I can't do that. So that way, Prabhupada was insisting that, we worship Gaurunita so that, you qualify for worshipping Radhakrishna deity. Don't just directly jump into worshipping Radhakrishna deities, especially those who are second initiated can worship Radhakrishna and Shaligram Shilas. It is recommended those who have second initiated, they can take. Of course, second initiation just by taking by namesake, it will not have any potent unless the person is following the principles, regulations, then the mantra will not have any effect. So in order to worship Radhakrishna and Shaligram Shilas, one should be Brahminical initiated. Those mantras, what we chant, it's a prerequisite to worship them. But Gaurnitai doesn't demand that. So the arrival address talks in the Atlanta. Prabhupada is talking. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very kind. Parama Karuna Bahi Duijana. Two lords of Nityananda and Gaurachandra, they are very kind. You see, they have appeared so to reclaim the fallen souls of this age. They are more kind than Krishna. Krishna is very kind, also very kind, but he comes to deliver. But Krishna demands that Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Vraja. First you surrender, then I'll deliver. But Mahaprabhu said, you don't surrender, no problem. I'll still deliver you. We have seen in the Prabhupada Leelamrita, Prabhupada would go to Mexico and other cities. First time he would visit, but by the time he go, that Gauranita deities was already there. They're welcoming Prabhupada. Generally, new preaching, we go, we set up a center, then we bring the deities, then invite, then construct a big temple. But Prabhupada was so much moved. Most of the time when he sings this Parama Karuna song, he would choke up and cry and he wouldn't talk in the Vyasas. And because he says, he's so kind, before even me coming, preaching here, devotees coming, and Gaurnita is already there, they're welcoming Srila Prabhupada. So they want to spread this Yuga Dharma. So merciful, no qualification. They don't take any offenses. If they don't know properly how to properly imagine somebody who's not known Krishna consciousness, in that too they're developed, born and brought up in US, and they don't know any culture, and they just heard Prabhupada and Gauranitai. Some Mataji is trying to make some dolls, and they just keep Gauranitai and start worshipping. In fact, Prabhupada one time I don't know if you heard this past time, he said, along with Sankirtan, let us all make dolls and Gauranitai and distribute everywhere, so that let them go into their house. Imagine somebody is taking books and going and saying, sir, my dear sir, take these two dolls, keep it in your house, all your desires will be fulfilled. He can be a Milecha, he can be breaking all for regulative principles, not following anything, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, they can do still, they can go. That's a mood in which Prabhupada was trying to think, Gaurnitai goes, probably they will have transformation in their life. So that extent Prabhupada was telling to know, so that you would cry so much profusely seeing the mercy of Gauranitai. We are so fortunate, so fortunate. We can never know how fortunate we are. If you're so fortunate, you would be mad. If you realize that how fortunate we are, you would be mad. 24 hours thinking about Krishna and Gauranga, and you would be chanting Hare Krishna mantra non-stop. So that realization takes some time, but they're so merciful. Prabhupada knew it. That's why pure Vaishnavas, they can go and preach 24/7. Prabhupada would engage in 24/7 the services. That's because he knew the value of what is the mercy of the lordships, right? So for serving Gauranitai, there is no offense, but Radhakrishna is there. There is some discrepancy, then there is a great offense. This is the biggest problem, right? So most of the time, devotees very enthused to get the deities, and they don't want to inquire. See, generally what happens is when you get any deities, especially Gauranitai, Krishna Balram, or any deities for that matter, it is advised to consult your guru, initiating guru, or his representative, whether you can worship them or not, including Shalikram or any deities for that matter. Photos is okay, you can worship them, but it's ideally recommended that before you change your job, get married, be getting children, worshipping the deities, buying a house, traveling abroad. Some of the key decisions you need to consult, because you need to see whether it will affect your sadhana or what is priority, right? In the life nearby, you might be staying nearby temple, whether really required deity worship is required, or you are good at something preaching where your leaders want to utilize somewhere, but you once the deity comes, it is a lot of responsibility. You have to take care of them. So what is important, right? So all those things requires a discussion with them. So it's always recommended before you take any deities, especially Radha Krishna, Krishna Balram and Shaligram Shila, one must get discuss with the seniors. That's very important. So, but Gaurnita, it's okay. They can all worship it. Definitely, they would give so much mercy that your life will transform, guaranteed. Anywhere Gaurnita is there, that center or house or any devotee, whatever condition that devotee may be, or is trying to become a devotee, sure enough, Gaurnita would shower their costless mercy. So that extent, Prabhupada was telling that even along with Sankirtan, you sell these dolls. Gaurnita, let them go to every place, right? So that's mood in which Prabhupada was talking. So what I will do is now I'll do few pastimes, stories, then we would discuss some philosophy, then we would take it like that. Since it's Gaur Purnima, there are so many stories about the deities' interaction, because they're not just made of metal, they're not just made of wood, they're not just made of stone, marble, but they are all living personalities. To have a faith, why this śrī-mūrtira Sevaya is important, right? They are living personalities, and they would interact from the, we have seen so many stories we heard about it. Um, we know that Sakshi Gopal, a Brahmana, who went along with the elderly person, and in front of Gopal, he promised that he will give his daughter. But his brother were not allowing. So his worry is that what if this Brahmana breaks his promise and he would suffer? So in front of deities, he have told. So I don't want that devotee suffer. That's why he wants to get married. It's not that he was bent upon marrying the daughter, because first of all, he didn't ask for it. Second thing, he didn't have any still desire, but he saw the another Vaishnava. He might commit offenses in front of the deities. So he wanted to avoid, he was pushing to get married. Then he requested deities to come. Then deity said, "Yeah, I would come." Then he said, "You are so much weight. You are 300-400 kgs. You are made of marble, huge deities. How would you come?" He said, "I'm talking to you, which means that I can walk also." The devotee said, "Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. But you don't turn up. Just walk. I'll come behind. And you'll hear your ankle bell. Then you know that I'm following." So like that, he comes. One point in time, he turns towards, and Krishna stands there. This is a famous Sakshi Gopal story we know. He's reciprocating with the devotees. It's just not the deities. Right. And also we know Kirchor Gopinath in the past times, where for Madhavendra Puri, uh, just 1 minute he was thinking, for my Gopal, how do I offer this sweet kheer, because I've heard this very famous. Then he just repented, saying, "No, it is still being offered to Gopinath. How can I think about even tasting this?" So he was very feeling bad. But the deity stole the kheer for him, and he told the pujari, "Go and give it to my dearest devotee Madhavendra Puri." Then we also know this Kirchor Gopinath, some of you have visited. And also there is a famous pastime in Sri Sampradaya, Kanchipurna. And Kanchipuram is so famous that Kanchipurna is to talk in person. In person, he can ask any question, Kanchivaradharaj, and he would speak. And many a times, many people put a request, "Hey, Kanchipurna, you are talking to, Varadharaj, please ask me when I go back." One time Ramanujacharya asked, "Ask my Lord when I will go back." Imagine Ramanujacharya is incarnation of a Lord himself. He is asking Kanchipurna, "Go and ask him." And Kanchipurna is asking, there are so many devotees requesting so many questions today. And he said, "Lord, ask." Our Ramanujacharya is asking when he will go back and things like that. Then he was hesitant to ask his personal question. He also want to know, "I'm fanning, I'm talking to the Lord, when I will go back." The Lord said, "You will not go back in this lifetime." He got a shock of life. "My Lord, what are you telling? What is the fault in my service?" He said, "There's no fault in service. A devotee is a devotee who is serving the other devotee. The devotee who is claiming to be serving me is not great. I mean, he's a devotee, but the first level of great devotee is the person who is serving the other Vaishnavas. You are not doing any service to Vaishnavas, so it will take time. And he just left the fanning and just ran away to serve the Vaishnavas. That's a wonderful pastime. There are so many instances like that. And of course, Alarnath, somebody would have gone to the Puri. The Alarnath deities, I know this a person, father has gone somewhere, he asked his son to offer some kheer. And every day he would offer and cry. He thinks that deity would come and eat. And he was eating every day. And one day, father came back and saw his mother was not eating. She was fasting. She asked, "Why are you fasting?" "I don't know. Your son takes to the offering room, but he never come. He comes with empty plate. He's telling that Lord has ate. So I eat only prasadam, which is offered to the deities. Otherwise, I have to fast." So he was so angry. "Why are you stealing and eating? If you want, you can after you can eat." The boy said, "No, the Lord ate." His father did not believe. "How is that possible?" Then next day asked him to offer, and he was hiding behind and he was looking. And this when the boy came, the Lord was trying to eat the kheer. He jumped off. The DTS immediately took off the hands from the burning kheer. It is spill on his chest and fingers. You can still go today see their fingers are burnt. There is a chest, there is a mark. If you ask the deities, they will show the pujaris, the mark, the kheer which fell, then it burnt his chest. Right? So the Lord is the other one lesson learned from this thing is that Lord is we need to be very careful in dealing with the deities. They should be dealt like a 3 years, 3 months baby. You don't go and change your dress of the deities just like that. Sometimes people will be in so much ecstasy. They don't realize it. The sensitivity in which the deities needs to be taken care. They need to be treated simple like a baby. When you change the baby, you don't just just try and pull things and massage them heavily sometimes. Even Shaligram Shila or deities, you need to patch them, not even rubbing them, creating a scratch because it is so soft as a petal, rose flower. And that's how we should imagine them. Probably they would have made of marble or made stone, whatever it is, Shaligram. But the mood in which what we worship is that we not even rub them, scrap them and things like that, see sensitive about the chains and other things, scratching their marks, making them, it should like treat it as a small baby. You don't put a lot of ornaments. I mean, for the worship we do it, but we put it safer side. And we need to careful about, whether this will affect the baby or not, right? When you change it, you so much take care. That's a mood which one should approach the deities and, irrespective of how they are made. They could have been made of Panchadata, Lokas, that's fine, but still they are very soft. One should approach in that mode because there's a personality who's sitting. If we worship that mode, then it is okay. Then, of course, there are so much pastimes about Mayapur. We can talk about the Rajapur Jagannath deities and Nrsingadev story on and on and on. There is a lot of books have been written. The living example, this and all, you might say this all happened somewhere in Mahaprabhu's time. What about currently? Currently, recently, it's happening in Mayapur, right? Nrsingadev one time, when Pujari was like, very afraid of worshiping him, the brahmachari. He himself went, not in his dream, he personally went. He sat on his chest and asked him, "Why are you so afraid of me worshipping? Don't be afraid." And his finger's impression is still there in the shoulder for him, the brahmachari. And it is there for a year. That mark was there. And he told, just don't put the light. It is just putting in my eyes and it is, I'm not able to, things. I know for the Lord, light is nothing, but still, you want to reciprocate as a human being to the other for us so that we can establish the relationship in discussing our problem, in progressing and talking to as a family member, establishing a relationship, right? So that's why the deity is important. So that way, Nrsingadev did this pastime, and of course, um, right. Um, so sometimes, devotees would wake up Radha Krishna deities. There is one center where Prabhupada saw they wake up instead of 4 or 4:30 or something like that, 3:30 only because they want to go out Sankirtan or some other seva. And Prabhupada came and he took the darshan of the deities and he said remarkable statement. the deities looks very tired. They did not getting enough sleep. How would Prabhupada would know? See, the deities, they are there, they don't need, see, they're completely, what is it? They don't need of any service. There is no sleep required for Krishna, but still, the mood in which we have to take care, then Prabhupada is teaching us that, one should, take care of very carefully these deities. That's one time Prabhupada would go, take the darshan of the deities. This generally practiced. Prabhupada had asked for two questions. Nobody knew it. There's one devotee was staying very closer to Prabhupada. He could able to watch this, witness this, and he would ask the deities, how is the devotees are taking care of you? Are they feeding you sufficiently? And there will be silent for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Then there will be a response from the deities. Oh, yeah, that's very good. Prabhupada would say, move on to the next deities, ask the same question. And he would, in the Bhagavatam class, he would say, you are taking care of nicely these deities. They are very happy. The acharyas can make out the deities. Even you wake them up 3:30 and you would know Krishna is not getting good sleep and he is tired. So that is the pure Vaishnava acharya's mood in which, see, these are an inspiration to see how to take care of the deities, how do we worship the deities, like that, right? So for worshipping Gauranitai, there is no qualification required. But of course, it is recommended one who is initiated or at least chanting 16 rounds, they can worship. For Radhakrishna preferred his second initiation and shaligrams like that. Um, um, so also sometimes, you're traveling and things like that within the radius of 2-3 kilometers. If you are living in the temple, one way Prabhupada says you don't need the deities because the more you can go to the temple and worship them. It's you are staying very far, you can't go quite often, there's no association, then better to have Gauranitai and worship them. Right? Most of the time we go and take darshan. Oh, I want to take darshan of the deities. Of course, this is auspicious, and darshan means the deities taking darshan of us because they would love to see us. Where is my son? How is he doing? How does he look like? Like when you go and meet somebody, right? Relatives regularly, your father, mother, they're so happy to see you. So similarly, the deities very happy to see you. So we should go in the mood, present ourselves in front of him that the deities are having darshan. It's not that we are having darshan of them. So that kind of relationship we want to establish, right? There's no qualification. Prabhupada is always tell there is no qualification for us to worship Radha Krishna in any standard, but they are so merciful. Gaurunita is so merciful. They are allowing us to worship. Sometimes we can worship the books as well. Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no difference between deity and books. When the books somebody is distributing, taking, it is same as Krishna. There is no difference. So even by touching it, they have touched the deities of Krishna. So there will be some sukriti. Even there is no distribution happens. 100 people have seen the book, touched the book, they have touched Krishna. Absolutely, there is no difference. You can worship the holy name. Those who chant holy name, they can put holy name as a printed, and you can worship the holy name. You can offer water. Whenever there's a japa retreat happens, they put instead of photos of Krishna, they'll put the Harinam. You can worship Harinam Prabhu as well, right? There is no difference. You can still offer and things like that. So let me move on to the next set of pastimes. So I will read this. These are important instruction of Prabhupada.
Prabhu, which is the last one, Prabhu, after Rajapur Jagannath, the corner photograph?
Alarnath.
This is Alarnath. Okay, okay. Yes.
Okay, let me quickly read. This is very important. Prabhupada instructions. Okay. Regarding the worship of Gauranitai by women pujaris, we worship Lord Chaitanya in his householder life when he was with his wife and not a sannyasi. So it is all right for a woman to do this service. But beside this, service is spiritual and there can be no material designation. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated by Lord Krishna. Okay, the principle is that everyone who properly initiated and following the regulative principles, regulation can worship. This activity cannot be the material platform. According to Smartha Vidhi, woman cannot touch the deity during menstruational period, but the Goswami Vidhi allows. But it is better not to do it. One thing is that the seva can never be stopped for any reason. This is also for cooking. This is the famous controversial thing always the women's, right? When Matajis comes, they can worship or not. They can do Shaligram worship, can do deity worship, they're second initiated, what is it? It's time, place, circumstances. But in India, it is generally not. I mean, of course, the dressing, the other things can be done, but generally Aarti and other offerings generally done by the Prabhus. But at home, the out of altar time, you should not touch, but at least the seva, there's nobody is there, the deity should not go hunger. At least you can cook, purify it, ask somebody to offer it from outside. Those things can happen. That's what Prabhupada says. The cooking cannot stop for any reason. The seva cannot stop. So there are exceptions. Again, there is no generic rules and regulations. Then you need to consult your whoever is your Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru on those terms, because different Maharajas will have different instruction. One sense that is the right thing so to do. There is no generic thing can be done, but in general, yeah, depends on the deities. What kind of deities, then it depends on the rules applicable, and of course your final authority is your Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru. Regarding your question about Gauranitai deities worship, yes, it is all right. Gauranitai may wear turbans as well as crowns. You ask what they may wear in the evening. They can wear different dresses or night clothing just as Krishna is dressed. Make a small symbolical bed and give them rest in that way. Bathe the deities mentally by mantra and not by pouring upon them. This may be probably wooden deities. That's why Prabhupada is telling not to pour upon them. Mentally, you can put mantra and make them bathe. If it's a wooden deities, of course, your regular deities you can bathe. There is no need of adding further deities. Once installed, it cannot be changed. Do not make it childish. Too much of addition of deities will encumber us. Let me repeat. There is no need of adding further deities. Once installed, it cannot be changed. Do not make it childish. Too much addiction of deities will encumber us. At first, either the Panchatattva or Gauranitai deities may be installed, taking care that there is sufficient space. There is no need to consult with me for this installation. The local president can design whether the circumstances are opportunate. So this other thing is that collecting so many deities without knowing who will take care of them, right? So you need to be a little sensitive, because initially those days, not many of them would have deities. Right now, it is like, in this age, a lot of devotees are having deities at their home. So the proper care should be given. So once they have come, you can't abandon them. Life after life, your child, everybody should take care. It is really offensive, because what happens is if you worship Radha Krishna and other deities, there is offense. It will affect you as well as the people around us. So that way, the high standard needs to be happen. It's a home or a temple, doesn't matter. Maybe little leniency is there for home, but does not mean that we would come down on the Radha Krishna standard. That's why Gauranitai is okay. They will not take any offense. But Radha Krishna, yes, there will be seva aparadh. That way, Prabhupada is telling, don't go. Sometimes people don't want to hesitant to ask their seniors, because what if they say no? I have a lot of desire to worship. The failure of rejection, whether they are on the standard or not, they don't want to check. So somehow this culture is there, but we should be. We don't know how Krishna would inspire us. But see, having deity is nothing wrong. We should have fear, but does not mean that I'm not telling to not what to worship, but it requires standard, the circumstances, what seva I need to do. That priorities, give it to the seniors who know about it, and let them take their input. Even though it may be against your wish or willing, that doesn't matter, because it's finally, ultimately, the care should be given like a baby. So, if you have two children, and if there are Gauranitai, then you need to imagine there are four children. If you have one kid, but you have Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, then you should think there are four kids. The same care you need to give to the deities as a child. How much effort you put, you even though how much or hurry you are going to office, you would not neglect your baby, right? You have to feed him, you have to dress him, you have to change everything, then you go to office. Sometimes deities, we say, okay, deities understand, I am into so much problem, I'm going, and we go. Right? But if we develop that mode of child, you will never neglect your child, come whatever it is, right? That should be the determination to have, the standards needs to be followed, right? So now let me spend another. Actually, today's Gaur Purnima, right? When you're celebrating, I want to talk about a lot of pastimes about Mahaprabhu, how the first deities of Gaurnita is carved. This pastime might take about how long I can speak, Prabhu? How much time I have?
Little 8:15.
Okay, I think it would be sufficient time I would have. So I would narrate two pastimes, two or three pastimes of Mahaprabhu. Time, how the deities were came and the interactions. Then we'll see how does it go. So we also know that Sanatana Goswami, Madan Gopal, uh, Chaubai's family, the deity, he would come and play his son. And one time she would cook, and Sanatana Goswami told, "Hey, how are you? You have to make high standard of worship. You can't just take care of him like that." Then Madan Gopal, we all know Madan Mohan, how he became Madan Mohan, and he, came to Sanatana Goswami. That pastime we know, that it is reciprocate. Then we also know Tota Gopinath, how Gadadhar Pandit was very old age. He was standing posture. Krishna was actually in standing posture because you see here is a sitting posture. Then he said, Gadadhar Pandit, you're struggling so much. You are old now. You're not able to decorate me. Let me sit down. The deity sat down. Amazing, right? They reciprocated to the devotees, and he was standing actually. Then he was sitting posture. You can see Tota Gopinath. Um, and there is pastimes of Radha Vinod. So Loknath Goswami, who is a contemporary to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his disciple is Shamanand Pandit. I don't know. Yeah. So Loknath
Narottam
Goswami,
Das Thakur.
Narottam Das Thakur is correct. Narottam Das Thakur. Loknath Goswami, right? So Loknath Goswami, he had a strong desire to worship deities. The deities came on their own, Radha Vinod, and he wouldn't have any temple. He would just put around the neck, put a jalna, and that he would keep. Then he established this temple, Radha Vinod temple. You can all go and see in Vrindavan, worshipped by. So what happens is one time, he used to cook, he used to dress him. So one time he was so absorbed. Loknath Goswami was doing a dressing his face painting and all. He forgot the time, and it's a time for offering as well. So there will be assistant. He's checking why he did not come out of the altar yet. He has to cook as well. It is already getting late. Another half an hour is there. He's not yet started cooking. He just kept the ingredients because he loved to offer on his own cooking. And then he came out of the altar and he was cooking. So the servant was okay. But after that, he saw still the door was locked after some time. He was confused. Who is cooking? Actually, the deities came in his form and he started cooking. And Loknath Goswami was like, dressing in the ecstasy. Then he came out, then he realized it is late. Then he saw all the things were ready. Then he asked his servant, who cooked it? He said, you only cooked it. I did not cook. I'm just coming out of the temple. Then they realized it's the Lord himself to assist him. He came and he cooked himself. And then he was offered. So the loving exchange of the deities and the Vaishnavas are amazing pastimes. This is Radha Vinod doing it, right? And the one major pastime I want to talk about this Gauridas Pandit and Hridaya Chaitanya pastimes. In the right hand side, you see two big deities, of wooden deities. This is the first ever Gaurnita deities manifested while Mahaprabhu was present in this planet. This is the first set of Gaurnita deities. So the pastime is like that. Gauridas Pandit is Shubala in Krishna's Leela, such an exalted devotee. So there is a place called Ambika Kalna. Many of you been. If you have not been, please visit. It is from Mayapur. It's not very far from Mayapur. You can go in 2 hours by travel or you can go by train. Ambika Kal is a famous place. You should visit that place. That's where this Shubala becomes Goridas Pandit. So Lord would love him and he would come. He has come twice to this place. One before after taking sannyas and one before that. So after taking sannyas, Lord came and said, Goridas, I want to take bit because I want to. I've taken sannyas. I will be going to Puri. So Goridas Pandit was devastated, saying that, "Oh Lord, how can you live by just being your presence? I'll be able to deliver." In fact, this temple, when one time Mahaprabhu came crossing the Ganges, there was a boat and there's a rowing rod was there. So he himself rowed the boat and brought that rowing stick and gave it to Goridas Pandit, saying that as long as this present here and you would preach, through this I would preach, I'll convert the people. So still this place, if you go to this temple, where Mahaprabhu has written Bhagavad Gita in his personal handwriting, that palm leaf is still kept. You can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Somebody don't agree, but their pujaris, they say this is personally handwritten by Mahaprabhu. That you can see, as well as the oar which Mahaprabhu used to row the boat, that is still there in this temple. And by the way, this is the place where Nityananda Prabhu got married to Vasudha and Jahnavi Mata. This is father-in-law's place. His Gauridas Pandit's brother, Surya something, I forgot his name. So he had two daughters, Jahnavi and Vasudha. So he got married. So that is the background about Gauridas Pandit. So then he said, Gaurnita, you can't leave. Mahaprabhu, you can't leave. You would have taken sannyas, but I would die. As soon as you go, I will die. I can't leave you, but you stay here and accept my service. That's all. Out of love, the lordship's not able to do anything. They said, wait, let's make a deal. What is that? You carve deities. There is no difference between my deities and myself. We are both same. And I have to go for preaching. That's a mission which I've taken sannyas. I can't stay here. Then you worship them. This as good as me. Then it's okay. Then personally, Mahaprabhu monitored and we got the deities were manifested. These two deities, what we see, life size, 7 feet. Such a big deities, beautiful deities. And they were carved and 4 of them were there. Then Mahaprabhu asked him to cook to his heart content, and he would cook. Gauridas Pandit would cook, and he offered to all the four personalities, the manifested deities as well as the real Gauranitai. Then after that, they said, okay, the deities, let it be there. We will go. We'll take a leave, and they are same as there is no difference. Then the deities started walking. Sorry, the Gauranitai started walking, and the deities were there. Then Gauridas Pandit could not leave the separation of the Lord. Then he called the Lord, please, please, wait. You said there is no deities difference between you and deities. Mahaprabhu said, yes. Then you stay here, let the deities go. I want you to stay. Then they said, okay, Mahaprabhu, deal. He went and to put his two-handed and he stood there as a deities and the deities walked away, real Gauranitai. Then he confused, maybe Mahaprabhu is tricking me. Then he saw this other deities are walking and going. They said, call, hang on, come here. You become, I think you are the real Gauranitai. You stay here, let them, who are there in the altar, let them go. Then the real Mahaprabhu started walking, the deities became deities again. And he was going to and forth, he was confused. And finally, somehow he has to give, let Gauranitai go for their preaching. So like that, this deities, there's no difference. Literally, there is no difference between this deity and Mahaprabhu. And this is the first ever deities when Mahaprabhu was there present in the planetary system. They created a beautiful Gauranitai deities. And what happened after that? There is his disciple Hridaya Chaitanya. Gauridas Pandit went somewhere. It was Gaur Purnima. It was getting delayed. He organized the festival without asking his guru. So Gauridas Pandit came and he was so unhappy that how can you, without consulting, you can do? You go and do somewhere else. Under the tree, he was doing, somehow he was trying to do the Gaur Purnima festival. And this Gaurnita jumped out of the altar and they walked and they were dancing there. And Hridaya Chaitanya noticed these are the same deities who have come here and they are dancing here. When Gauridas Pandit went and saw the altar, the deities were not there. He was so got angry and he was taking stick and he was trying to chase these deities. And the deities were so, they saw that Gauridas Pandit is coming. They just entered into the Hridaya Chaitanya's heart. That's why he's called Hridaya Chaitanya. His name became because the deities went manifested in they went inside his heart. Then after that, the deities came and, then they continue to worship. So this kind of worship happens. That's why this is still Chalak Darshan. Means like they would close the screen every 2 seconds so that you would not jump and run away. So this is the wonderful pastimes of how the first ever deities came, and they are non-different. The lesson can be learned is they are non-different from the actual personalities, right? And I can talk about one more pastimes. Um, I don't know which one to take. I think probably I'll take the Nargari Sarkar's pastime. There's a place called Srikanda from Katwa. If you go to Katwa in and around, there are a lot of places to see. That's where Lochan Das Thakur wrote Chaitanya Mangal. That place is there. Still you can see. Then there is Mukunda, Raghunatha Go. There are a lot of pastime happened. So one pastime is this Narari Chakra Thakur. He carved three deities. In the bottom, you can see there are three set of deities. The one is worshipped at Katwa. That's a big deity. And the middle one you see, and probably zoom it out. This is in Srikanda. This is the place, small deity. This is the place, closer to that place is where Lochan Das Thakur, he wrote Chaitanya Mangala and things like that. So here you have Mukunda and Raghunatha. So Mukunda is a great physician, is a doctor by profession, and he had a son Raghunath. You might know this pastime. So Raghunandana one time he asked, his father went away and he is supposed to offer the deities. So same thing like Alarnath, he is asking, expecting the deities to eat every day that they would eat. And his father would ask, where is the, Bhoga offering, the prasad? He said, no, the deities ate. And one day he was looking, and there is one Krishna deities you can see here. I think this Krishna or this Krishna, I don't know. One of them, like they were eating the laddus. So still now the deities will have half laddu in his hand. Then Raghunandana, is a great devotee. His father so happy to see his devotion. So these are the deities which are reciprocating with a lot of pastimes with the pure Vaishnavas. And this other one in the left hand side, you see there's a dancing Gauranathai. This is the third deity, medium-sized deity, which is carved by Narari Chakra Thakopad. He is in Yakra Chakra Dham, right? So these are all very, very close associates of Mahaprabhu. We sing in the Gaura Arti, right? Narariyadi kori chamara dulaya sanyaya mukunda vasu goshadikaya. This Narari mentioned is this Narari Chakravarti path which I'm talking about. There's a Srikand, this is a very famous place. There are a lot of devotees very closer to Mahaprabhu. Gadadhar Pandit actually, they are all very close. They were served Mahaprabhu here. And he's the incarnation of Mati in the Krishna Leela. And one time Mahaprabhu wanted honey. So there is this pond, still is there, Madhukund. He just water, he converted them into honey and gave it to Mahaprabhu. So all those pastimes, amazing, beautiful places, wonderful places, this Srikand, when the deity is also reciprocating. And these are the deities which he carved initial other set of three deities. And there is one more beautiful pastimes of Bishnupur. This is in Calcutta. So you see this cannon. So there is now currently there are so many people are fighting. So much war is happening. Imagine if it is a Vaishnava who is ruling the country, how you would manage the war is exactly applicable to our present situation. Thousands of people are dying, killed. So the same thing happened. I think Mughal, not Mughal, it is some from Maharashtra. Some they are trying to attack this king. This king made a rule in his kingdom or in this area. Everyone should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Kirtan should happen. It's what do you say? It is compulsory. Everybody get up and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The entire area is devotees, entire devotees, and his soldiers also never went for any fight. They're used to japa japa japa. Suddenly, this king knows that the other king they were trying to attack, and they all soldiers said, even though we are not experienced in the fight, still we want to go and fight. As a Kshatriya, I want to fight. The king said, no, no fighting. I depend on the holy name, nothing else. Everybody should lock their house and chant holy name, take shelter of the holy name. it must be crazy. Somebody might be thinking, is Kshatriya supposed to fight and is a Vaishnava? He said, I have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name. And everybody locked their hand. They were chanting, chanting, chanting. And these people, opposite enemy, they were trying to fight, right? The Lord himself came out, Madan Gopal, Madan Mohan. He came out in the horse, and the soldiers, somebody's witnessed it. He had the two cannons. He shot all of the enemies in the night, overnight. And he went to one person who was selling milk, and he said, I'm very tired, give me some milk. I'm the king's son, and this is the ring. You can give it to my father, and tomorrow you take some money. And he drank all the milk. And this next day, when the session was happening in the court, they're wondering who killed all these enemies. The Lord himself came, personally took the cannon and fought the war. And this cannon is still there. Such a wonderful reciprocation of the deities and the strength of the holy name. This person, right, just surrendered to the holy name, saying that, Krishna, whatever you want to do, you do, right? Such a faith he had. This is wonderful place in Bishnupur. I think I'm exceeding the time. 8:15, Prabhu, or you said? Or 8:10?
8:15.
So this is another wonderful pastimes where this lila is happening. So I would end, this is the last slide. We'd read something, then we would end up and for discussion and corrections and things like that. This is after that there are many devotees of Mahaprabhu followers. They started installing Gauranitai. Some of them, we can see Prabhupada instruction and things like that. This all come in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's already mentioned. There is one Udarana Datta Thakura. He comes from the Prabhupada lineage. So that's why Prabhupada connects the Mullik family, Swarna Malik family. They are lived in the Calcutta. And how they established the was a Jamindar. Then he brought the Nitai, Nahi Heti. Is closer to Pani Heti. Katwa, closer to Katwa. I don't know. I think Nahi Heti is somewhere in Calcutta. I don't know about this. So probably I'm wrong. So this is the place where Prabhupada says that he comes in our lineage. So that's where his person installed deities of Gauranitai. Then also Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur talks about Subhadi Mishra installed Gauranityananda deities in the temple village known as Belagon, which is about 3 miles away from Srikanda. So like that, it lot of information on Chaitanya Charitamrita available. And Prabhupada also tells that deities can be made out of cement or polyester plastic. They can be made same size as the earlier Gauranitai deities. Some instruction Prabhupada has also given on the deities, right? So in summary, some of the lessons we can learn is these are exalted Vaishnavas. We can't imitate them, but we sincerely serve the deities. Someday they would speak to us. That's Prabhupada's statement. But in the mood in which we have to worship them is that we should take care of them as babies. Awe and reverence, even though different moods will be there, but ours always worship like especially Radha Krishna to be worshipped as Lakshmi Narayana. In that awe and reference mood is what we should follow and take care of them as deities and put a lot of effort, time, and taking care of them, because we should not do any offense. That would be again seva aparad will it will be difficult to progress in Krishna consciousness. That way, wherever the deities are there, they come for whatever reason. So we should take care, or we need to upgrade our standards. With that, I would stop here for any corrections.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much, Prabhu. Beautifully shared the pastimes of Mahaprabhu in various forms, in various deities, how he was manifesting himself. And actually, one part is the philosophy, but the other part is also the Leela. So, Leela brings a lot of confidence that, Mahaprabhu, though we hear philosophically that the deity and Mahaprabhu are non-different, but when we hear these pastimes, it actually increases our faith that yes, the deity that we are worshipping is a person and he's actually based on our mood, he will reciprocate appropriately. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing the wonderful nectar. I request the devotees to share their comments or reflections, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
And
Very
also,
nice pastimes explanation, Prabhu. And he's created a faith also, he's created a small fear also in our minds.
healthy fear is good.
Yes, Prabhu. Can I ask one question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, sir. See, though I have a Gaurancandra picture in my altar, and by bringing calendar of Radha Krishna from the temple, every year they distribute, Prabhu. They decide. Those things is permitted to keep in the room, Prabhu, or not advisable to keep it? Because after purchasing it, when the year is gone, we cannot just dispose it. We have to retain it. Being a deities in the picture form, how do you suggest, Prabhu?
Correct. So there is no difference between the deity's picture and the deity. There is no difference. That's why most of the temple, they don't allow to take your picture because we don't know how we will use it. That's why many temple restricts. But we also want to promote people get some sukriti, so we allow them. But there can be offenses if you mistreat them, put them in the floor. There is no difference. Still, that would be offense. And sometimes, initially I've seen, remember the T-shirts people would put Radha Krishna Gaurancandra deities, and the kids would wear, that would become fancy. Then after some time we will just wash it with the floor, and it's all offense. There is no difference. It's similar for even holy name. If it is printed holy name, it has its potency. So that way we should be very careful. Sometimes I save all of them, accumulate them whenever I go on Tirtha Yatras or somewhere, but not to pollute the water, but safely discard them, so that, or put them under the mud so that nobody steps over it, because how much you can keep on accumulating, but just don't throw it in the dustbin. That is not appropriate way of doing. Nirmalam is what, even the garlands we use in our temple, we do nirmalam, we put it in a particular place, pit, and close them. It's like that, so that people don't step on it and things like that, not offensive way. Of course, you can find appropriate means to dispose them, but utmost cautious should be taken. You can't just discard them like that.
Thanks for assistance, Prabhu. Should we buy or not to buy? Because if we buy
You
it,
can
we
buy.
have to own it.
You can buy.
We can buy it.
In the pamphlet also, sometimes Janmashtami we put a lot of pictures and they throw it, somebody throws away, goes. But that is there. But we need to see time, place, circumstances. Otherwise, we can't preach in big way if we don't print pamphlets. And the
Yes,
pamphlet
sir.
means we should have some deity's picture.
Yes, sir.
If you see something fell on the ground, pick it up.
Yeah.
Don't just leave it like that and go. So that's more, right? So you know that still there is a deity pictures are there. And whatever it is that the calendars you buy, I'm not telling not to buy, but the way you dispose it, you find out a means what is good for you. If you have a garden where you can put it under mud, do it. Or if you have no place where nobody goes there, no steps, it automatically can degrade, then it's okay. Or some of the rivers where you go, but not to pollute, ensure that we don't pollute, but it naturally can degrade, then you can leave it that place. Like that, we need to find out a means how we dispose them. But it does not mean that we should not buy calendar. We should buy calendar.
And one more point, you said not to the course of the reading, we are not supposed to keep adding the deity's picture in our altar stage.
No, not deities means physical deities.
No, in the picture form.
Photos, it's okay. You can have your favorite deities, but in general, what is that? You would have Radha Krishna, Jagannath Baladev, Gaurancandra, Nrsimhadev, like whatever we have in the temple, that should be okay. Apart from that, I don't know. Somebody might have favorite Balaji, then their Ishta Devata will be there. That's okay to have. But other than that, you just keep on adding all the devatas, not required.
Not all the devatas, like Gaurancandra, Radha Krishna, and Krishna Balram.
Yeah, you can have, not a problem.
Picture format.
Picture form you can have.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks.
Once they come in the form of physical form, then you just adding would Means, see, near to the temple, you have the opportunity to serve the Lord, so there is no need.
Yeah.
If you have, then you have to dedicate time.
Yes.
Other services will impact, so that you need to, if you are able to do, then please do so. There's nothing wrong. It is added advantage. We will meditate a lot on the Lord. How do we dress them? How do we do them? Radha Raman, who is my self-manifested deity, Gopal Goswami, because he want to dress them. How do I worship Shaligram? They just put like, but how do I worship them? Then he manifested. There are so many pastimes of the Lord reciprocating, and time is not enough. You just keep on thinking, it's keep on coming, right? So it's wonderful. But same time, we need to be also respectful to the deities.
Thank you for all your suggestions. Nice nectarian pastimes, Prabhu. All these pastimes are available in the book, Prabhu. The Bhagavata. Or in different as for the Granthas.
Different books, but when you go on Parikrama and you hear from senior Vaishnavas, but there will be definitely about Goridas Pandit, they definitely written Chaitanya Charitamrita, Narayana Chakra, Thapur Path, but how they established the temple, these are places I visited personally, traveled, seen the deities, seen the places, absorbed, hearing from the other Vaishnavas.
You said Ambika Colony or Ambika near
Kalna, Ambika Kalna.
Ambika Kalana.
Some of the pastimes I've heard from my Guru Maharaj, Isolna Jayapatka Maharaj, about the canon pastime, the Goridas Pandit pastime. This is all I heard from my Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for wonderful clarification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams. In continuation with Prabhu, calendars, can we give it to someone who just want to frame it or
Yes.
like that? We can pass on.
Yes.
Prabhu?
Yes, we can do that.
And then I'm just waiting for my initiation, Prabhu. In my altar, I have kept a Radha Mother photo, which I got from Mayapur, Prabhu.
Photos, no problem.
Okay.
I'm talking about the deities.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Photos, no problem. Hare Krishna.
Any other questions or comments from the devotees?
How far is this Ambika Kal from Mayapur, Prabhu?
It's not very far. You can go by train. If you go to Navdeep and you catch the train, it may be 15-20 minutes. But generally by taxi, you can go from Mayapur. Maybe it takes 1.5 hours.
Okay. It is in the same direction as Ekachakra?
No.
That's a different direction.
Different, towards Calcutta side.
Okay.
In fact, if you come by Calcutta to Mayapur by train, you would stop in Ambika Kalna. Means there will be a stop in Ambika Kalna. Ekachakra is different direction. So if you want to explore more, then it would be Katwa, in and around Katwa, Srikanda, Ambika Kalna. Then you can do that. Then, of course, you can go to Advaita Charya's place. Then Pulyagram, where Haridas Thakur used to meditate along with the snake. Yeah. So Advaita Charya's place, Shantipur. Then Habibpur, there is again Bhaktivinoda Thakur's maternal place. There are a lot of those areas. There are a lot of places.
But when you go by vehicle, we can't see, Prabhu. Usually from Calcutta, you go by taxi, no? We can't get these.
No, I don't think so. It's under, no, you don't see them. No, you don't see. You have to go a little inside. But if you come by train, yes, the train stops at Ambika Kalna.
You only just jump and go to Mayapur and come back. Don't see. Thank you so much. Wonderful class, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I think there are no other questions. Thank you once again for sharing the wonderful pastimes of the various deities.
Sorry, please forgive me if I offended anybody by talking overly. It's most of them I don't follow what I'm speaking. That's because of the circumstances. I'm learning it now. But I have to speak what is correct, even though I follow it or not. But I'm speaking so that we can all try to progress together, achieve together. But don't any means you can judge what I'm speaking, what I'm following. I don't follow. So I'm just learning like you. But I need to speak the correct thing. So I'm speaking the correct thing.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. We can end today's session with the Vaishnava Pranam. Chakalpatarobhyasya Vipasindobhe Pidana Pavanendu Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Srila Prabhupada ki jai, the Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We will end the Zoom session, devotees. Hare Krishna.